It's the SKOR North Twin Show. Baseball.
SKOR North Twin Show. Boys, I was in California over the last week, and I was at a wedding, and someone asked, how are the Twins doing? I was around a lot of Padres fans, which it's a fun time being a Padres fan right now.
Yeah.
And they said, how are the Twins? And I said, well, there's a saying in Minnesota, and it's don't let the Twins get hot. It's actually a saying that I have dubbed that I now might have to make a T-shirt of. But don't let the Twins get hot. They have now won 8 in a row. They are over 500 for the first time all season. State of the Twins coming up here in just a bit. But a shout out to my friends at Northern Soda Company. So Northern Soda, which has a tap room, by the way. We always talk about breweries, and Northern Soda has their own tap room. Okay, so you can go check out and get yourself a nice Northern Soda. Their tap room's located in New Brighton, but you can also find Northern Soda in Kowalski's, London, Byerly's, most Targets, Hy-Vees, and Cub Foods as well. This is 1950s style craft soda. Plus the Twin Show root beer. That's right. So if you go in to that tap room and ask for the Twin Show root beer, which I love me some root beer, it's 10% off for all SKOR North listeners when you say you mentioned this on the SKOR North Twin Show.
Nice.
So when the Twins get hot, you can enjoy a nice root beer at Northern Soda. All right, dudes. State of the Twins. Here's our overview here. Some good, some positive things here in some of these categories. Twins are 21-20. As we just mentioned, they are over 500 for the first time. They're in 4th place in the AL Central still. They are 5 games back in the Central, but they're a half game out of the wild card. So they have crawled back to be within a half game out of the wild card spot, which is good. Some key categories here, and actually these first two have remained the same over the last week, which I'm actually surprised by. They're 17th in runs scored. That's the same figure they were actually a week ago. They're also 22nd in team OPS. That's the same figure they were a week ago. But with runners in scoring position, they are now 6th in baseball. So clutch hitting was a huge part of this last week. So that has gone up significantly. They're now 6th in with runners in scoring position. Also, probably the biggest thing, which we'll probably talk about a lot of here coming up, team ERA, they are 5th. They have the 5th best ERA in Major League Baseball right now. Their starter ERA is 5th. Their bullpen ERA is 8th. Obviously, their starting pitching has been probably the biggest reason that's carried them to success here. Playoff odds, two sites. We'll start with Baseball Reference, which we've been using for the majority of the season. It's now 23.5% chance they'll make the playoffs, which is up 16% in the last week. So they were in single-digit playoff odds for the better part of the last couple of weeks now. After an 8-game winning streak, that's gone up to 23.5%. But Fangraphs is much more positive on the Twins' playoff hopes. They're up to 50%. So Fangraphs says they're more of a coin flip to be a playoff team.
You guys were so down on this team. You guys, both you guys in particular. You wanted to trade everybody.
Yeah. Yep.
So negative.
Attendance was bad.
Just dumping on Chris Paddack for no reason. Then he goes out there and shoves on Friday night.
Sold out. Can't get a ticket anymore.
23,000 yesterday.
I think it was announced like 21 or something. Or was it 22? Yeah, somewhere in there.
I think it was like 22, 23 on Mother's Day, which is good. Let's do a vibe check. What are the vibes, Judd? You want to give us our first vibe check here on the state of the Twins?
Absolutely, because I look around the clubhouse, I look around this team, and I say this: the vibes have a familiar feeling. I go back 1 year, okay? A year ago, the Twins start 7-13. They then win not 8 in a row, 12 in a row. They get to 19-13. They then go through basically a large portion of the summer looking like a playoff team. And of course, around mid-August, it collapses. But that being said, this team, 13-20. I believe they were 8 games under 500 earlier than that. But when this 8-game win streak started, they were 13-20. They're now 21-20. So it's a familiar feeling. The question is, can you now build off this and finish it off? But really a tale of 2 seasons that to me feel remarkably similar in how they started. And then the team eventually hits a hot streak. Don't know if they're going to win 12 consecutive now, but 8 consecutive is pretty impressive.
Yeah, they were 7-15 was the 8 games under 500 mark, and they are 14-5 since starting 7-15. They have the 5th best run differential in the American League. And so I'm not going to try and reinvent the vibes here. I'm going to echo what Judd said and say Twins vibes are just like last year at this time, where you inexplicably bury yourself in the first few weeks, you claw your way back to relevancy, and now you're in the mix. It's a really competitive division. The Yankees over in the Eastern Division too. There's some teams in the American League here that are interesting, but they've kind of they've undone the bad that was created self-inflictedly in the first 2 or 3 weeks. But this is kind of where you thought, I guess in some ways it's actually still further behind where you thought this team was supposed to be. I thought and still think that they've got the pieces, if healthy, to compete for a division title here. Clearly they have the pitching through the first month and a half of the season. But the Twins have been guilty of self-inflicted lowering the bar of expectations and then clearing a lowered bar and being like, hey, look at us now. So I would say golf clap for the Twins. Not everyone, but some enough players figuring this thing out to get back over 500, because there was a very good chance that your season was just over if not for a crazy 8-game win streak here. So all right, we're back. Still have the August-September collapse to avoid here, but continue pushing forward and continue winning series. Yeah.
So my vibes are hungry. Like, the vibes are now hungry. They've come ready to eat, and they're just absolutely pounding food. They're getting stronger, right, every day. But where I will actually push back on why this feels a little, or where this is the exact same as last year, is so during that win streak last year, Royce didn't come back till June. Buxton was out, I think, that entire win streak that they were able to go on without Buck. Correa came back from an injury and then was on there for the majority of the season. So now they've won 8 in a row. And Royce, who started 0 for 15, gets his first 2 knocks yesterday, a big bases loaded single that helps kind of put the Twins back in front. Correa had a maintenance day, just a routine off day after playing like 21 straight games. So he was off yesterday. Where this is different, in my opinion, is they have now their 3 guys, right? The graphic we see on every national broadcast, or even obviously locally here with Twins TV, how many games have Buxton, Correa, and Royce been in the lineup for? Now they're all healthy, which is good. So you're not like your 3 most important players are in the lineup. So I think that part is key. If these 3 dudes stay healthy, then and through the course of the year, then I think you're not going to see a collapse that took place. I have some other favorite things too, that the supplemental talent around them is also obviously coming through, which was a big reason also for the collapse last season. So I think that part to me is a little different from where it feels last year, even though it does have the same tune to starting bad and then going on a big winning streak.
Yeah. And I mean, Correa, I don't want to get too far ahead because he's actually in my least favorite things. If he can join the party offensively, I don't know where he's at health-wise. Doesn't seem like 100%. Can I jump in and give you my favorite current Twins thing, though? Get to the
Absolutely.
next category.
Yeah.
Because you guys were so unfair in your Chris Paddack evaluation earlier this year. I think Chris Paddack was maybe 3 different times already this season in my least favorite Twins things, because they've stubbornly committed millions of dollars and multiple different contracts to try and take a 2019 season and replicate it. But to his credit, man, he absolutely has been shoving in his last few starts. His last start where he took a no-hitter into the game, he pitched into the 8th inning. He recorded an out in the 8th inning for only the 4th time in his career. 90 career starts for Chris Paddack. That was only the 4th time he has recorded an out of any kind in the 8th inning. So that was one of the best outings of his career against the Giants. This is probably one of the best, 5 or 6 start stretches that he's had, maybe the best since 2019. So again, it is a 1-month sample size of Chris Paddack pitching at this level, and we can't crown him yet in the front office. This needs to continue throughout the duration of the season. But he deserves major props. I've been super hard on him on this podcast, maybe undeservedly so in some cases. So Chris Paddack is my favorite current Twins thing after shoving against the Giants.
He was phenomenal. And look, I think that all three of us were hard on him, rightfully so.
It was more the front office than him, because it's at a certain point.
Yeah, but at a certain point, you have to consistently contribute, and as of late, to his credit, he definitely has. But yeah, I mean, the Twins created their own problems, and now they're digging out, which is nice. I just hope that they can continue it because it's a lot more fun. It's going to be a lot more fun once the Wolves are done, if the Twins are playing well, as opposed to the direct that we saw for most of the month of April.
And obviously that won't be for another like 5 more weeks, as the Twins or the Wolves will actually be playing in the NBA Finals too, right? So we got a lot of we got a lot of time between now and then, which is big. My favorite Twins thing right now is obviously the starting pitching has been great, to Phil's point, but the supplemental offensive players that they needed to step up are showing signs and also at times carrying this lineup. Trevor Larnach over the last week plus, but even going back the last 2 weeks has been destroying baseballs. He's hitting .321. He has great power. He has 5 RBI, 9 hits, slugging .607 over the last week. Brooks Lee had scuffled a bit during the homestand as a whole, but yesterday ends up batting cleanup because Carlos Correa doesn't play, hits a big-time home run. You're seeing a much different hitter at the plate this year than you did last year in Brooks Lee. And if the Twins are going to be taken seriously, yes, those 3 superstars in Correa, Royce, Buck have to play every day. But that's 3 guys in a 9-man lineup. So Brooks Lee and Trevor Larnach, I think, is showing signs. And Royce, I had a conversation with him yesterday just about, is his timing off? Are things still, kind of little struggling for him, trying to figure out the timing and getting used to major league pitching? Because that jump from AAA to the big leagues is gigantic. And also, we were joking in our text thread, us 3 here a couple weeks ago, the Saints have been rained out every other day. So that dude goes on a rehab assignment, and then he figures out he's not going to play for the week. So I think his timing eventually will get there with Royce, but Brooks Lee, Royce Lewis, Trevor Larnach, Ryan Jeffers, they need everyone in that lineup to at least be somewhat competent and obviously exceed their expectations. I like what I see from the younger players that finally, I think, are hopefully taking the step for good.
And Royce back at third base now too, which I love.
Yeah.
That dude needs to play third base. So yeah, he really hadn't played baseball for how long too? He got some spring training, but that's spring training. So yeah. I'm definitely open to the fact that this was going to take some time, but I also like Royce at third, Correa at short, Brooks Lee at second, and France at first. And on Lee, if he can just hit a little bit and play second base consistently, that makes such a difference, because everything else other than probably Castro is a black hole at second base.
Well, just jumping in line again here, because we could probably all list off 3 of our favorite current Twins things. I'll start with outfield defense and work my way in. So outfield defense, the Twins have the second best outfield defensive runs saved in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
According to the Fielding Bible and Fangraphs. They are 5th in center field defensive runs saved, thanks largely to Byron Buxton.
Yeah, he's playing every day.
And they are 2nd in left field defensive runs saved, thanks largely to having a center fielder in left field in Harrison Bader. He's been awesome.
But this is what's so frustrating about last year. You dummies went out and got Margot, whose defensive metrics, by the way, had fallen drastically. Nothing that happened in left a year ago should have surprised anyone. Didn't surprise me. And it's not like Bader's expensive. That's a great contract, and he is phenomenal there. This show has been going back to the days of glorious AM radio. We have been pounding the table to get athletes out there, and Bader is. It's amazing. It's amazing how easy he can make it look in a left field, a target field that's actually difficult.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. It's there's
a lot of room.
There's a lot of space. There's a lot of ricochets and things to play. So just starting with the Twins they have the best center field, left field defensive combination in the entire league, which is huge. and they've got one of the most fly ball heavy pitching staffs. It's like I think it's the 5th most fly ball heavy pitching staff, 1 through 13 in the majors. So you're leaning into that strength. You're getting fly balls, which could also be a weakness because they could go over the fence or off the wall, whatever. But like you've got outfielders that can track those down.
True.
And on the infield side, they've been really shaky with their infield defense because they've been unsettled. Outside of Correa at short, you're running me when Julian's out there. And Willie Castro is one of he can play everywhere, but not well defensively.
Right.
And so now getting settled, now Royce Lewis isn't exactly Scott Rowland in his prime at third, but Royce at third, some stability. Brooks Lee anywhere is going to be at worst a league average defender up to maybe something better. So your infield, I think, and this again kind of goes back to discussions we had, that your identity should probably be defense with a center fielder in left, with Brooks Lee, his glove, Carlos Correa, his glove, Byron Buxton. And lo and behold, like on this win streak, a lot of these games are allowing opponents 1 run, 2 runs. Yesterday got a little wonky, but defense. My 3 favorite things: defense with this team right now.
The biggest surprise in the homestand, in my opinion, is this: Willie Castro can play right field without butchering it. He made about 3 nice plays. Now he's taken out for defensive purposes late in games, which is fine. But I believe I read that Castro had never played right field as a Twin until this homestand. And I thought, oh my God, here they go. They're getting cute, right? Balls are going to be flying off the wall. He's not going to make catches, blah, blah, blah. He's actually okay out there. Now, I don't know if that's a sustainable thing or not, but I was pleasantly surprised that he's not going to play there full time. But my point is, they tried it. They've tried a lot of things that haven't worked. They tried something here that for now worked. And my favorite thing, though, is to expand on Paddock, though. Starting pitching. Like, let's just talk about the starting pitching here. Starting pitching's been phenomenal. It has been in this win streak, and really before that, too, it started. But it has been what we expected, and then some. I mean, Joe Ryan comes back from claiming or saying that he puked 30 times on Tuesday. 30 times? My God, your stomach would be just...
Puked up blood.
Oh, my God, your stomach muscles would be a mess. But anyway, said he felt like crap on Saturday, and he threw a great game. But you just look, and I know the Pablo's start on Sunday was not great. It was sufficient. You still won the game. But at the end of the day, you look at the starts that this team is getting right now, and that sets the entire tone. And I'm just glad that the bats can back it up now, because it would be a damn shame if you continued to get these starts and didn't win.
Bailey Ober too. I know we're going back like to when was his last start? Thursday, I think, before the Giants series.
He got moved up to replace Joe Ryan. Yeah, and Ryan got bumped back 2 days to Saturday. But he has, again, like after setting his whole season back in the first game, he is an automatic 5+ innings, 1 run guy. His last 4 starts, he's had 4 consecutive such starts of 5, 6, 7 innings, 1 run or fewer allowed. He has 16 such starts since the beginning of last season. And I don't know, if Wallner can get back at some point, like if they can get any semblance of consistency with their bats, and they still have some things to figure out with that bullpen too, but you can see the bones. And that's what was so frustrating about the 7-15 start. It's like, you guys, this isn't the Rockies or the White Sox roster. What are you doing here? You can see the bones of a team that can contend and win 90+ games. And they have finally shown that in the last week and a half, 2 weeks.
So I do have some least favorite things. I have a couple things in mind that they're more nitpicky than they are like actually things that I think are hurting the team necessarily. But a quick shout out here on the SKOR North Twin Show to AFSP. Bill?
Yes, we're looking to raise some awareness for an important cause here on the SKOR North Twin Show. Suicide affects the construction industry very specifically, and we can all play a role in saving lives and helping to spread awareness. You can make a difference for those who build our communities by hiking on Saturday, May 31st at Legends Crossings at Viking Lakes in Eagan. You can help spread awareness and understanding and send the message that help is available and raise funds for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Join the Construction Hike for Hope by visiting afsp.org/mnconstruction. That's afsp.org/mnconstruction. Stoked is on board here for this Twins resurgence as well, Judd.
Grill Masters, Sports Dad talking to you directly right now because it is barbecue season, and that means it is time for Stoked Barbecue Pellets, a company based right here, operated right here in our great state. Pick up Stoked Barbecue Pellets, 50-count fire starter buckets, 4-count fire starter bags, and my personal favorite, the barbecue caddy, because it's going to make your life as simple as possible. Stoked is the premium pellet that cooks anything that you throw on the grill or smoker to delicious perfection. You can find Stoked products at Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Store. Also check out stokedbbq.com to find out all of their locations of the people that carry Stoked. So again, stokedbbq.com, Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores. It's grilling season. Make sure that you're stoked for it.
Baseball.
All right, least favorite thing. Again, this is nitpicky, but this is what happens when you win 8 games in a row, and you get to be a little nitpicky. I think I know where you're going to go.
Nitpicky, not at all.
Why is Harrison Bader batting 8th and 9th? That's my biggest thing. That's my least favorite thing here. I'm gonna give you some stats from Harrison Bader through the 37 games he has played. He leads the team in batting average. He leads the team in on-base percentage. He has 4 stolen bases. I know he doesn't profile as your typical leadoff hitter in 2025 culture, but this dude is hitting damn near 300 and is getting on base too. Now, the defense is where he goes, and maybe this is more of a blip and more of an anomaly from an offensive side because he hasn't really shown consistency of being this great of an offensive player. But my nitpick, I would bat Harrison Bader leadoff, and I would put Buxton behind him. Byron Buxton is leading Major League This is Buxton. This is what you have to deal with Buxton at the plate. Wow. He leads baseball in strikeouts. He's going to swing and miss a ton. He doesn't get on base. He doesn't draw walks. He pulls home runs, and for stretches at a time, he can be a very hot hitter. I'd like to see Harrison Bader at the top of the lineup. I don't think there should be your best player with batting average, OBP, and OPS hitting 8th and 9th. Just a nitpick here on an 8-game win streak.
I feel you conceptually there. I think the Twins, who are very analytically driven, are looking less at the results and looking more at his career and projection. And right now, Harrison Bader's on-base percentage through 37 games is 100 points higher than his 3-year average on-base percentage in the 3 years prior to his Twins tenure here. So I think what they're trying to guard against, if you look at his career and specifically the last 3 years, offensively, he is not an above-average player. Through 37 games, he's been the Twins' best offensive player, and he's been a machine. And I think so to Declan's point, okay, well, while he's hot, you might as well milk the value and put him up in the top 3 so he can set the table. And I think what the Twins are saying is, awesome that he's hot. We didn't sign him to be a 387 OBP guy with a 138 OPS plus. We signed him to play great outfield defense and to contribute a little bit with the bat in the bottom third of the order. This is a little bit like, I guess it's a little apples to oranges, but I'll use the comparison. Delman Young in 2010. Now, Delman was like a 24, 25-year-old young, blossoming player, former number 1 overall pick, who was expected to produce with his bat. But that was his first big breakout season, and Ron Gardenhire kept him in the bottom third of the order for like weeks and weeks, maybe even months, if I remember right, because it was comfortable for him there. And eventually he moved up to like 4th or 5th and had a great season. But maybe part of the reason why Harrison Bader is performing so well is because he's kind of comfortable batting like 8th and just sitting down there. So I get, like, on paper, yeah, you want your guy that has an 850 OPS to be closer to the top of the order. But I think the Twins expect that to completely fall off a cliff at some point, with the defense being the sustainable thing. That's my theory.
So when Wallner gets back, does he go back to the leadoff spot, Dex, do you think?
Oh, yeah. Probably.
Okay.
I think so. They now they have good options there. Buxton's been their guy, but again, like, you have to guard against Buxton going a week where he can't hit anything and he's going to strike out in
Yeah,
like
he didn't have a good
50 to
series.
60% of his at bats. Like that's
Saturday,
Buxton
Sunday.
in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I would rather, I think, roll with someone like Wallner. Like Wallner would be, yes, he's your preferred, or Luke Keeschall when he's healthy. He's still got like a bionic cast on
They
his
talked to him
on
on
his
the
arm.
telecast. Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
It looks like he's not close. I'll step in line here because I got one. I got a definitive least favorite thing here. Okay, and I'm not going to pick on the Twins though. I'm going to use an end around here to tell you what this is. My least favorite thing is on Saturday night. Rocco Baldelli had to get tossed from the game and fined by a complete, absolutely horrible plate umpire. I present to you Adrian Johnson, okay? So Baldelli came out and said something along the lines of, this is 4 consecutive guys that you've missed the first pitch to, blah, blah, blah. He went off, got tossed his cap as he walked into the dugout. Very intriguing move. I liked it. But then on Sunday morning, this came across Twitter from the X account Umpire Auditor, okay?
It's a good account.
About this game in particular on Saturday night. Adrian Johnson called the worst game of the season so far. He missed 17 calls in the first 5.5 innings, and 13 of those went against the Twins. When Baldelli complained, he was ejected. Johnson missed 22 calls in the game and had a season worst correct call rate of 83.1%. So Rocco Baldelli gets fined. He gets tossed because this guy is... It's amazing. You know, guys like Joe West can retire. Guys that do a lousy job. What's his name now? I'm forgetting the name of the
Laz Diaz.
Laz Diaz.
No. He's still around.
Angel Hernandez?
Angel Hernandez. Thank you. Angel
Keep naming.
Hernandez.
I'm just going to start naming umpires.
Angel Hernandez. He retires, but you still got your Adrian Johnsons, Laz Diaz. Was it CB Buckner? Is
CB
another one. These guys are all terrible, and that is my least favorite thing. Like, if anybody, you know what? Put in the challenge system for their games. Just immediately put it in.
Even yesterday, so I know there was some confusion right before the game-winning hit from Kersey of why was Rocco arguing with the umpire. So Rocco explained it as the pitch clock had run out, but also the pitcher still threw a pitch, and it was a ball. He was trying to pontificate that should be 1-0 for my hitter. Right. And the umpire came over to him and said, yeah, it was probably my bad. I should have restarted the clock. To then Rocco said, okay, hold on here, though. You're admitting at fault. You're also admitting there was a pitch clock violation. And the pitch that was thrown was a ball.
Right.
So how in the hell is it not 1-0 for my guy in a big spot here? That's what that conversation
And who flew in there but Adrian Johnson, who I think is the crew chief, who was on, third base? So he immediately flew in there to help explain it.
I did pull up on umpirescorecards.com, which is a glorious website. Adrian Johnson, so they've got the details too. They had him missing 23 calls out of 130 potential calls. Because that's 130 pitches that aren't batted balls or foul balls or whatever. It's pitches that hit the catcher's glove and you have to make a call. So it was easily his lowest accuracy score of the season. So on the year, he's a 93% accuracy guy, which is still below the average range of a major league umpire. In this game, it was an 82% accuracy rate. That's pretty crazy. Like, he's literally missing 1 in every 5 pitches.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
And I get that the argument, these are human beings. And some of these pitchers, as Royce Lewis detailed to Declan, are throwing, or I saw a quote from Royce, I think you were there.
Yeah.
It's 17 inches this way and 20 inches that way, and they're throwing 97 with movement. It's hard. You're flipping coins, as Max Scherzer was doing the motion the other night.
Oh,
they're flipping coins, man. And they are, because it's actually not fair to ask humans to make calls at a 100% accuracy rate, but 82% is about as bad as you're going to find. So.
I'm telling you, at the All-Star break, take the bozos and put in the challenge.
Bozo.
So when you come back from the All-Star break, if you're below the threshold, I don't know,
regular
95%, like
you gotta go to AAA.
What's the threshold? No, you put in the challenge system for their games. It's like bumper lanes in bowling. You're not good enough to actually not throw a gutter ball, so we're going to put in the bumper lanes of baseball, which is the catcher or the hitter can challenge your bad calls.
I love it. Listen, Adrian, you're not fired, but you're definitely going to need some padding for this bowling.
You're bad at what you do, calling. And again, that gets back to my grand point. Not everybody should be calling balls and strikes.
Yeah, but you're not. But also at the same time, the electronic strike zone is 100% accurate. And the best umpires in baseball are only 95% accurate. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have, and if we're talking about the average game having like 150 pitches hit the catcher's glove over the course of 3 hours,
right?
Even a 5% miss rate is like 7 to 10 pitches.
Yeah.
It's like a pitch an inning that could sway a big, hey, there's a 1-2 pitch that should have been strike 3 inning over. Oh, the count is still alive. Now there's a double down the line. So how long does baseball want to continue with with a 5 to 10% miss rate on these?
I think we see the challenge. I think we see challenges in 2026.
Agreed. Yeah.
But if you're going to continue to rotate umpires, let's pick okay, you're at 90%, you suck. So now we're going to build in something. Like, we can't stop you clearly from having home plate, but we're going to stop you from being an idiot.
Yeah, that's fair. Just one last quick thing for me, least favorite things. I alluded to it, but this feels a lot like the 2023 Carlos Correa season where, I mean, he has 3 seasons in his career where his batting average was in the 230s. He wasn't hitting for much power. It's this year. It's 2023 with the Twins. And then he had that 2018 season. That was the year after the trash can banging situation where the Astros, not crying any tears for them, had to figure out a new process at the plate. So I don't know. I can't imagine that he feels 100% at this point. Yeah. You're 40 games into the season. I'm not gonna rip on him. Like, he makes all this money. I don't think he's healthy. So I'm kind of giving him the benefit of the doubt here, and he's grinding out there. He's still playing quality defense at shortstop, but he's got 10 extra base hits in 40 games, and the lowest OPS plus by a mile of his career. Something's off physically, I think, with Correa, and he's grinding through it.
I will say this as far as the future goes, gentlemen. I am intrigued by Brooks Lee at shortstop, if the back holds up. So that's a question too. But like Brooks Lee, to your points, to your points earlier in the show, the glove plays. I think he's improving at the plate. I think he gets it. But boy, it would be nice not to have, if you already are in a predicament where you don't like to spend a ton, it'd be nice to get that money off the books at some point.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he still has, in terms of guaranteed years, Correa is signed through 2028 at $32-ish million a year.
Yeah.
And then there's 4 team options, which I don't know if those get exercised, but
make sure they don't trigger. Plate appearances, baby. You keep them down.
Yeah, so it'd be 575. Well, the first triggering would be for the 2028 season. He'd have to rack up 575 plate appearances as a 33-year-old. So that's a way down the line thing to
go coach first base too. Contribute.
Maybe he can coach third base, so he's contributing a little bit more to the runs being scored.
Hey, by the way, hit the like button and subscribe button here. Appreciate everyone. Pushed over 5,000 subs. Even yesterday alone, it was like one of our biggest just 24-hour sub day on the YouTube channel, on the SKOR North YouTube side. So thank you so much. Also on Apple and Spotify, whether you're an audio listener. And I had a couple friends, friendly listeners come up, say hello to me in the press box. If you see me, come say hi. I'm a nice guy. I promise I'm not mean. I'm a nice guy. Come say hi.
Don't give him a Dante Culpepper jersey, though. He might not open it for a few.
Or give me a gift.
Real nice guy. You get him a holiday gift.
Guy, yeah.
Give me the gift. Don't wrap it. Don't wrap it. Just give me it. Just give me the gift, and I'll put it on right then and there, and then I won't avoid it. No, appreciate you guys. Trevor Plouffe Tuesday coming up tomorrow too on the SKOR North Twin Show.